Good morning.
Good morning.
This morning I want to talk to you. My text is from Genesis chapter 37, verses 50. My topic is God meant it for good. And I'll be talking about three parts. I like to call it the three P's. You see what I mean? Joseph was the 11th son of Jacob. His first son through his favorite wife, Rachel. Now, there goes the first sign right there, favoritism. That wasn't a good thing for Joseph. Can you guys hear me? Is this mic? George, I cannot hear myself.
It is low. It is low. It is low.
George, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Now, after the announcement of his birth, we see Joseph next as 17-year-old returning from shepherding the flock with his half-brothers to give Jacob a bad report on them. We're also told that Jacob loved Joseph more than any of his other sons because he had been born to him in his old age. I guess there's still hope for me. And he made him a special coat. Joseph's brothers knew their father loved Joseph more than them, which caused them to hate him. Hate is a bad word. To make matters worse, Joseph began having dreams, and he told it to them. And that hate turned into jealousy. He said one day in the dream, he said, I might be ruling over you. Now you're already the father's favorite son. They already don't like you. And you go say to them, one day you're going to bow down to me. How are they going to respond to that? So they said, oh yeah? One day he was coming, his father sent him to look for his brothers. And they decided to kill him. All because of envy. They decided to kill him. But one of his brothers, Reuben, said, let's not go that far. Let's throw him in this pit. I better be Jesus for me. My first part is talking about the first P is in the pit. It was a deep watering hole. Let me pray real quick. Father God, we thank you for this morning, Lord. We thank you, God, for who you are. You are God and God alone. We rebuke any Satan activities today in this church. Lord, show up.
Hallelujah.
Have your way, oh God. Father, I humble myself and come before you, asking you, oh God, to help me get a word for you.
Yes, Lord.
Speak through me, oh God, Jesus. Let it not be flesh, oh God, but your word, oh God, that comes to your people.
Yes, Father. Yes.
Blessed, oh Lord Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Now they threw him in a pit. It wasn't just like a little hole. Back then, it was deep and it was jagged and it had rocks, and this thing was empty. All because of jealousy and hate. Why? Because God gave him a vision. His father liked him more. It doesn't take much for people to dislike you. When they see that God has chosen you for something, you know, this man had a special coat. His dad gave it to him. But keep in mind, okay, it's like this. His dad got that coat from Macy's, and theirs was from like a thrift store. So you can imagine how they felt. When people see God is ready to bless you and empower you, they already start digging a pit for you.
Uh-oh. Oh my.
When they see that you are moving up and they can't handle that, they already got a pit waiting for you. And hear this. Wherever you see jealousy, hatred is right behind. It's a terrible thing. Wherever you see jealousy, as hatred is right behind. And if you find yourself starting to get jealous over something or jealous over somebody, I suggest you get down on your knees and rebuke that evil spirit from your life. Jealousy jealousy can lead to a deadly road. Listen to this, what James says in chapter 3, 14, 15. But if you have a bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast and be false to the truth. Now hear this. This is not the wisdom that comes down from above, but it is earthly, meaning flesh. It is unspiritual. And here's the sad part here. Here's the scary part. It is demonic. That is what jealousy and hatred leads to. But there's another scripture I want to show you. In John 13. A new command I give to you. Love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another. Sometimes, man, we see people. We see what's happening. We see them, and it just doesn't sit right with us. Why? Because God chose to bless them and not you. Your time is not right now. It's His time right now. God didn't forget about you. So why are you hating the blessing of someone that God chose? Now hear this. He was 17 years old at this time in his life. Troubles don't just come to you when you're in your prime. Listen, young people. 17 years old, thrown into a pit. And look who are the people that threw him into a pit. The closest people to him. The one that played with him when he was a little boy. The one that he lived under the same roof with. That's the people that threw him in a pit. And they said they threw him in. They didn't gently place him.
That's right.
They didn't gently lower him down. They threw him. Can you imagine Joseph seeing his brothers coming to him and grabbing him? Hey, what are you doing, bro? Does Dad know about this? What are you doing? I was the favorite son. God loved me. Why are you throwing me in here? What did I do to you? And they threw him in the pit. Now, the Bible said, here's what gets me. The Bible said after that, you know what they did? They sat down to eat. The food that he just brought to them, they sat down without a conscience to eat while they just threw your little brother, your blood, in a pit. Some of the hardest things to go through is when family hurts you. The people that love you are supposed to love you. They are jealous. Not all families, hear me, not all families. But sometimes that happens. Instead of love, jealousy. Instead of love, anger. Instead of love, bitterness. All towards a young man because God gave him a dream and not them. But guess what? God was with Joseph. But this was all in the will of God. Say will of God. I want you to get this. God uses circumstances and sometimes people to train you. The circumstances that you squirm under and you complain about, the circumstances that you don't like and that what is happening to you, God meant it for good. You see, they tried to get rid of the dreamer, but instead they unknowingly helped start fulfilling his dream. I'm going to say that again. They tried to get rid of the dreamer, but unwillingly helped started fulfilling the dream. When people do something to you, they think they're doing something to hurt you. They think that they're getting rid of you. They think that you are buried and you are no longer going to be seen. They don't know that they're setting up a platform for what God has for you. So get this. Just because you are in a pit, it doesn't mean that that is it. You are not staying there. It's just a pit stop, as we say. That is not your final destination. That is the beginning of your second point.
Hallelujah. Yes. That's
Now, when you think that, okay, some people are coming to get me out. Woo! Somebody's coming to help me. Yeah, they're getting you out. But you're going from a pit to a slave. When you think God is getting you out of one situation, yes, Lord, I see that I was in a pit. Now I see your hand coming. Guess what? Sometimes you figure, I would rather be back in the pit than where I'm going now. Now he was sold and bought by a high-ranking Egyptian named Potiphar. And eventually became the supervisor of Potiphar's household. Now he had favor with him throughout all this. God was still with him. He was with him in the pit, now he's with him as a slave. When God has a plan for you, he doesn't just leave you. You may not see God at that time, but it does not mean he's not there. Yes, you got out of one situation, then you jump into another situation, just as bad as the last. Lord, what happened? Lord, you gave me a dream. Lord, how am I supposed to be in a pit and now in a prison when you told me that one day I'll be ruling? This does not make sense to me, Lord. And when life don't make sense, it's not for you to try to figure it out. It's for you to keep trusting.
Yes. Amen.
It's not for you to try to figure it out. Because he don't show you the big picture. He don't show you the end. Because if he did that, you wouldn't have any faith. And if you don't have faith, if you have all that you need to see and you don't have faith, that means you don't need him. And he wants you to need him. Because he loves that between you. He loves that when you don't know, you come to him. He loves that when you can't figure it out, you have no choice but to say, Abba, what is going on? Help me, Lord. I can't figure this thing out.
Amen.
Now, through all this, Joseph kept his Christianity. He had favor in Potiphar's house. Even though he was a slave, he still had favor. I want to tell you, even though right now you feel like you were enslaved in something, you still have favor.
Yes.
Why? Because God is with you. Somebody say, God is with me this morning.
Hallelujah.
Now, unfortunately, Potiphar had a wife. Now, this Trinidadian, this woman made advances towards Joey. And not once. And let me tell you, when the devil puts a temptation in front of you, it's not easy to say no. He don't give you something that you don't want. He will target you. He will try you. He will test you. And it's up to you to run from it or to run to it. And the boy, being God's hand on his life, he knew the right decision to do. And too many times these days, when we get into a temptation, we don't run from it, we run straight to it because it looks good to the eye, and it looks good for that moment, and it can please you right then and there. She said, when she was dreaming about the dreamer and she couldn't get him, she lied on him. Look at the first thing. Jealousy. They were jealous of him the first time around. The second time now, when he's out of one pit and now he's in another, he's minding his own business. And they lied to him about him. You don't have to be doing anything wrong for people to lie about you. You don't have to be doing anything wrong for people to try to stain your character. You are doing what you're supposed to. You are humbling yourself in a pit. You are humbling yourself in a prison, and you are trusting.
Yes.
And you know, when he was in the pit, not like it's bad enough right there. They took his coat that his dad gave to him, and they dipped it in blood tore it up, and took it back to the father. It's not like this boy is already in not enough trouble. He's in a pit. Now you got to go lie. You're lying about him now. He's already in a mess. He's already confused. He's already frustrated. And the father sees the coat, and the evidence is there. And the father broke down for days, they said, not knowing it's false evidence. Some of you been presented with some evidence lately. I want to tell you, it is false evidence.
Yes.
It may seem like it's dead. It may seem like it is lost. It may seem like it is gone forever. But it is false.
Yes.
You will see. You will see.
Yeah. Preach, bro. Preach. Take your time. You're doing good.
Just because God has his hand on your life doesn't mean you're going to go through a smooth sailing. Doesn't mean you're not going to have things happen to you. Just because he is with you does not mean that it's going to be easy. And for some of you here, you're going through a rough time and you're wondering, what is happening? Where is God in all this? Trust me, he is there. He has you where he wants you. He positioned you right there. And if you were there right now, you're not going to be stuck there. He wasn't stuck in the pit. Just as he won't be stuck in the prison. It was a temporary training lesson. God don't train you your whole life for the same lesson. Unless you keep failing. You know, I shouldn't say that. Now, he's in the prison. And he finds favor in the prison. Because he can interpret dreams. So two of the guys that were in there, he helped them out, and they got one of the guys he got out. Now he's in a prison and he's helping. In a prison and considering other people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're in our prison, it's all about us. Oh me, why me, oh me. Why did he leave me? Why did she leave me? Why did I lose this house? Why did this car break down? It's all me. But when you can minister to somebody else when you're in a prison, that's a different story. That's how you know God is with you. When you can help, when you need the help. When you can give your last dollar when you don't have a dollar to give.
Yes.
When you can encourage when your life is hurting. When you can counsel when you need counseling yourself. You have no one to talk to. Is this making any sense?
Yes.
Now, he said to him, hey, remember me when you go to Pharaoh. You are free. Remember me. Remember who? Some people only need you, or only use you when they need you.
Right.
They got what they wanted from him. They remember who? And 2 years afterwards, 2 years afterwards, he took a sip of water. 2 years afterwards, Pharaoh needed an interpretation. Then they remembered. Isn't it funny that people can only remember you when they need something from you? When they can't get it nowhere else, when nobody else can help them. Hey, I remembered a few years ago, Joseph helped me. That's sad. When he asked them, hey, remember me when you get out of here. Yeah, they will remember you when they get into their problem. God is with him this whole time. And you may feel that you go from a pit to a prison, and the absence of God is nowhere to be seen. From a pit to a prison. And I don't know what else is happening after this. But guess what? God was with Joseph. And just like he came out of the pit at an appointed time, he came out of the prison at an appointed time too. Because he was the one that can interpret the Pharaoh's dreams. It's how you handle the pit and the prison that will determine if you make it into the palace. It's how you handle when you're in a pit and when you're in a prison. It's going to depend on if you make it into the palace. Envy got him thrown into a pit. They were envious and jealous of him. That got him thrown into a pit. Lies got him thrown into a prison. But his gift and his God got him into a palace. But his gift and his creator, the one that he stayed faithful to, said, hey son, your time is up. No more pit for you. No more prison for you. I am here now. Your time is up. Some of you, your time is up. Say, no more pit for me. No more prison for me. I am walking out of this thing. I am now a victor, not a victim. You see, all this was a training lesson for where he wants him to be, where he was ultimately going to put him. But a lot of us, we want the palace without the pit experience. We want the palace without the prison experience, but it doesn't happen that way. It's a process. The 3 P's, the pit, the palace, the prison, and the palace. You can't go from without to straight up to the palace. You got to go through something. Because he's teaching you something. He's teaching you how to handle the palace life. He's teaching you and setting you up to when you get there, you're going to know what you're doing. Now, his job when he got there was second to Pharaoh. He was a big boy. Got a ring, got a gold chain, got his chariot riding second to Pharaoh, and he did nothing to get this. He is speaking Egyptian now, a Hebrew boy, riding next to Pharaoh. All because he kept his cool. He kept his faith. He didn't get frustrated. I'm sure sometimes he was like, what is happening? But when you see those times in your life and you say, what is happening? Know that something is happening. Know that. When it's quiet, something is happening. When you're hurting, something is happening. And it's how you handle yourself in those situations. How do you handle yourself when you're hurting? How do you handle yourself when you're in the prison? John the Baptist. He baptized Jesus. He said, this is the one. Now listen, when John the Baptist got into the prison, is that really the one? Is it? I don't know. And that's how we do sometimes. Hey, yes, when things are going good, God, oh, yes, Lord, I love you, I love you, I love you. It's easy to love him when you're doing good. Love him when you're hurting. Love him when you're in a prison. Love him when they lie to you. Love him when they hurt you. And you love him then. Love him when they envy you and you did nothing wrong but follow the dream that God gave you. Love him when you did nothing wrong and you ran from the sin and they still accused you of it. Don't get bitter about what's happening because this is all a process. This is what he wanted to see from you. He wants to see if you can get through this. And when you get through this, the palace is waiting. And I know some of you are tired of being in the pit and tired of being in the prison, but I got good news for you. You won't get tired of being in the palace. Now, Psalms 40 verse 2. I thought this was really sweet. King James Version. He brought me up also out of a horrible pit and put out of the miry clay and set my feet upon a rock. And not only that, he established my goings. The boy that was once in a pit is riding second to none. Another version says, he drew me up from a pit of destruction. Another version says, he lifted me out of a pit of despair. Amen. I don't know what pit you're in right now. I don't know what pit you're in right now. I don't know what you're confused about. I don't know what doesn't make sense to you. Maybe it doesn't make sense to you that you're in your early 30s, mid-30s, and you're not married yet. Maybe that don't make sense to you. It makes sense to him.
Yeah.
Maybe you've been looking for this job and you are qualified to have it, but you haven't got it. And it doesn't make sense. I studied. I have the degree. When it doesn't make sense to you, it makes perfect sense to him. Because it's not for you to understand. It's for you to believe.
Yeah.
Because if we can understand everything and see everything he's doing, we don't need him. Now, I'm closing. I'm going to say this. Just bow your heads with me right now. Greater than Joseph, that provided for the ones that wanted to kill him, because that's what he did when he got there. He had to learn to forgive. He had to learn to forget what they did. Because he's in a position now, to the same people that put him in the pit, he has to serve them food. God don't promote you to say, when they come to you, say, ha-ha, I got you now. You remember what you did to me? You remember where you put me? You remember how you lied about me? You remember how you were jealous and nothing has even happened to me yet? I'm not going to hold out against you because I am Christ-like.
Hallelujah.
I want to pray this prayer. I don't know who this is for, but if this is for you, I want you to really think about it. Sometime in the past in your life, somebody has thrown you in a pit. It could be a family member. It could be a close friend. But they hurt you. And you can't seem to let that go now. I am begging you this morning to bring it before your God. Let it go. Because God is going to promote you, but he can't promote you if you have hate in your life. He wants to bring you out of there, but he can't bring you out when you keep reliving the hurt in your mind. When you keep thinking about what they did to you. When you keep thinking about how you did nothing wrong and they lied to you and they stained your name and now everybody looks at you funny.
Oh, God.
He's saying, let it go. Because I'm going to put you in a position that you will be able to bless back the same ones that wanted to hurt you.
Yes, sir.
Father God, I thank you this morning.
Holy Spirit.
I thank you, God, that you sent your son. Your son, oh God, greater than Joseph, oh God. Look what we did to your son, oh God. And he is there. He forgave us. He does not hold grudges.
Thank you, Lord.
He has a palace waiting for us one day. Father, I thank you. I thank you today, oh God, that, oh Lord, no matter what pit, no matter what prison we are in and we are going through, that you are with us. You are with us. We are not alone. I thank you for being a loving Father. I thank you for teaching. I thank you for not leaving us where we're at, but bringing us out and lifting us up. I thank you, great Jehovah. Bless your people, O Lord. Encourage them, O Lord. Let them see, O God, if somebody has done them wrong, O Lord, to forgive. Forgive. Hallelujah.